Welcome back to the Hot 7 Nightly News. Thank you for staying with us. The Civil Service Association is expressing dissatisfaction with 2 of the 3 proposed locations identified for relocating employees of the Inland Revenue Department. Earlier this year, the CSA gave notice of strike action if health and safety issues were not addressed as it related to air quality. CSA General Secretary Claude Paul says the safety of employees at the Inland Revenue Department trumps all. Solange Alfred tells us more in this report.
The workplace is arguably the location that most individuals spend the majority of their time. Within that environment, it remains imperative that safety and security are ensured for individuals to achieve optimum productivity. CSA General Secretary Claude Paul provided Hot 7 with an update on the ongoing relocation of Inland Revenue staff who had threatened strike action in March if health and safety issues in the department were not addressed. Paul says 3 locations have been identified. However, 2 of the 3 come with their own unique set of health and safety issues.
First of all, the location upstairs of Digicel is very cramped, and the number of boxes and furniture, they may have underestimated the size of the space based on the amount of people that were put there. So they have decided to make some arrangements to get the place in order. So as it stands up to yesterday, the place was not ready for occupation by the staff. The new location at the ECFH building, at the Bank of St. Lucia building, they had some addition, they were already occupying some space, then there was some additional space. That space was, again, boxes, and it was dusty. It was in need of ventilation and some clearing out. And the onus, therefore, is on the management to get the place ready so that the staff can return. The third location, which is in Blue Coral, it looks very ready for occupation.
Although the location at Blue Coral looks organized and prepared, Paul says without proper air quality testing conducted, the relocation effort will be hampered.
In a previous engagement with Inland Revenue, they agreed to do some air quality tests there because that had been a concern before occupation. We are still awaiting the results of that. So in all fairness, the staff don't feel comfortable going back into that area, knowing that there was a suspicion of air quality before when it was occupied by the previous government department.
Paul says the union continues to advocate for workplace safety and is looking forward to a speedy resolve to this matter to allow a return to normalcy for the staff at the IRD.
What we are saying from the union point of view is that we would like to see the locations where the staff are going to be safe and conducive for work. So that's the standard we want. And so that's what we await. So as soon as we get word that the place is ready, I'm sure the staff will return.
For their part, the IRD management has acknowledged some of the issues brought up with the proposed locations and have taken steps to transfer filing cabinets and boxes from the space once occupied by Customs to the Blue Coral building. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Thank you, Solange. Veteran Caribbean journalist Earl Bousquet is weighing in on the resignation of ministers in Guyana after the High Court ruled that it is unconstitutional for a person holding dual citizenship to be elected as a member of Parliament. Guyana's President David Granger said his acceptance of the resignations of the 4 ministers and the resulting cabinet reassignments were in keeping with the rulings of the High Court and Court of Appeal on this dual citizenship matter. Here in St. Lucia, Bousquet says this matter will come to the fore, not just for St. Lucia, but for many other Caribbean countries.
There is a Caribbean connection to this because what has happened in Guyana is happening everywhere else, including here in St. Lucia, where our constitution that was adopted in 1979, and I'm no lawyer, but I do often read my constitution, it says in section 32(1)(a), a person shall not be qualified to be elected as a member of the House, hereinafter in this section referred to as a member, if he A is by virtue of his own act under any acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, or adherence to a foreign power or state. Now it outlines other reasons why you cannot hold dual citizenship and be an MP.
Busquets says the law is clear, but there is no enforcement. He says in St. Lucia's case, he hopes every MP is adhering to the Constitution.
Now, I would hate to believe, because I know better, that there are holders of dual citizenship in our government or in our house, because the law doesn't talk about cabinet. It talks about being a member of parliament. So who polices the implementation of that law? Is it the electoral office, election office before elections to say to somebody, you cannot be an MP because you have dual citizenship? Is it the responsibility of the party leader to ask candidates to declare whether they have dual citizenship? Who makes the declaration and when? And if that is part of our law, why is it that any member of our parliament, whether government or opposition, should today be holding dual citizenship against the law? So that is a matter that is going to be of interest in St. Lucia.
In Guyana, President Granger has indicated that his acceptance of the resignations is a demonstration of his duty to ensure that the government acts in accordance with the Constitution at all times. People around the world are becoming more angry, stressed, and worried. That's according to a new global survey. Of some 150,000 people interviewed in over 140 countries, a third said they suffered stress, while at least 1 in 5 experienced sadness or anger. The annual Gallup Global Emotions Report asked people about their positive and negative experiences. The most negative country was Chad, followed by Niger. The most positive country was Paraguay. The U.S. was the 39th most positive country. Latin American countries, including Paraguay, Panama, and Guatemala, topped the list of positive experiences. Researchers asked questions such as, did you smile or laugh a lot yesterday, and were you treated with respect? These were in a bid to gain an insight into people's daily experiences. The poll found that levels of stress were at a new high, while levels of worry and sadness also increased. In other news, the Civil Service Association is giving an update on ongoing public sector negotiations. The General Secretary, Claude Paul, says at this point they would like to see the matter resolved once and for all. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
The Civil Service Association is running low on patience over the ongoing negotiations between the government negotiating team and the different factions of the public service. General Secretary of the CSA, Claude Paul, said the association and its members are looking forward to bringing the saga to a close. Paul said if they are not approached in the near future with a resolution, the association will go back to its members to be guided according to their wishes.
We are at a stage in the public sector negotiations where we have concluded terms and conditions. And our members, of course, are anxious that this be brought to a conclusion. As you know, we are into a new triennium, and the last triennium of 2016 to 2019 ended on March 31st. And so we are still without an agreement. So the discussions which has taken place so far between the unions and the TUF has been on the terms and conditions. The question of salaries has to be dealt with at the level of the Trade Union Federation, and we are anxious for this to take place, to bring the matter to a close as soon as possible.
Controversial Public Service Minister Dr. Eubaldus Raymond was the guest on a local television talk show on Thursday night, where he spoke candidly about his role in a number of leaked private phone conversations between him and a Trinidadian female. In one of the controversial tapes, Dr. Raymond discussed public servants in an unfavorable manner. When asked for his thoughts on the interview, Paul had this to say.
Of course, there were lots of things in social media which I don't think we want to comment on. I believe the authorities who have to deal with the situation would have all the information necessary to take whatever action they need to take. I don't think it's for the unions to comment. And in the absence of all the information, I would not like to comment on that particular matter.
The future of Dr. Raymond within the ministry is still uncertain as he remains under investigation. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Rochelle. You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news after this break.